That wasn't exactly how I wanted to kick off the year. Showtime, folks. Alright guys, so I just got back from watching Companion. Now, if you haven't heard anything about Companion, Companion circles around two characters primarily, going by the name of Iris and Josh. They are a couple who are going to this lake house and being hosted by some friends. You run into this issue of Iris killing one of the patrons in the party and kicking off a chain of events that are better left unspoken of unless you really want to get into the details of the film. Now, going into this movie, I didn't really know what to expect. I thought it was going to be kind of like some kind of horror cult-like film based off of the trailer. It didn't give much, which is exactly what you want from a trailer. You want it to intrigue you enough to bring you into the theater, but at the same time not give you so much of the plot that there's nothing to surprise you. And going into this, I was, cautiously optimistic about it. I mean, there wasn't anything that screamed like this was going to be my favorite movie or anything like that. But it also was enough for me to be interested in just to see, okay, I want to see where they're going to go with this. And I don't know how else to put it, but I am disappointed. Like I said, going into this movie, I thought it was going to be a lot more horror themed. I thought it was going to be a lot more circled around horror genre elements, and there is some thrown in there. I mean, you do definitely have a surprise of sorts. Going into the movie based off of the trailer, I knew there was going to be something unusual with our protagonist, our final girl, if you will, for the sake of keeping it horror related. I knew there was something going to be strange going on with our final girl, but I don't know if I really appreciated the way and the route they decided to take with the story in general. So getting into my pros of this movie, I will say that both Iris and Josh put on a really good performance. I believe it's Jack Quaid has become a little bit more comfortable in taking on these kind of nerdy, villainous characters. He's become pretty big on the show The Boys, and he even came out in the most recent Scream, or maybe it was a Scream before that. I'm not sure, I'm more of a casual Scream fan. Sorry, guys. But he did come out in the more recent Scream franchise, and up there, he kind of toned it up, when he wasn't acting as one of the survivors. He really kicked up a notch as far as like taking the villain role and running with it. And in this one, it's a little bit more like he's a clumsy villain of sorts. And he does that pretty well. There's no complaints there. Same thing with our protagonist, Iris. She does a pretty good job of playing without getting into spoilers, being confused by her existence and what she's been asked to do by these people. And I really appreciated that as far as the performances go. But getting into the cons of this, I feel like a lot of this was written by just familiar elements that didn't really stand out to me. It wasn't that the film was bad. It was actually enjoyable. I mean, if you're gonna watch something in the theaters this weekend, it's not something to like frown at or anything like that, but it just felt awfully familiar. It didn't feel all that original. I do enjoy certain elements. There is one interesting kill in the film that I thought was pretty interesting. However, getting into like the characters, there's not much depth in a few of them. It turns out in this film, there's a heist going on, and other than that, you don't really get much depth in any of these characters. There's not much to sing their praises about. You're not really rooting for I guess you're not really supposed to root for any of the villains in this film, but you're not really attached to any of them, for lack of a better phrase right now. And our protagonist, you are attached to her in the sense that she is our protagonist and she is our final girl in the horror sense of the phrase, but there's not much depth there. And perhaps it's by design, but at the same time, I just don't see much there for me to make it something that I'm going to remember 10 years down the road. I do think it has like a cult-like, following that it could pick up. There might be an appeal there, but for especially for the horror fan that's going in there thinking that this is going to be a horror movie that I'm going to go and we're gonna have something great to dig our teeth into, this isn't exactly what you're looking for. This is more of a sci-fi thriller type of film more than any kind of horror film. Unfortunately for me, I was going in there thinking it was going to be more of a horror kind of film, and it just didn't hit that many check marks for me as far as what I'm looking for in a film, especially like this one. Further, and I guess this is just to keep going on something that I think the film did well, but at the same time, I've seen other films do just as good, if not better, is that there is a message here, and I do like it when a film has something to say. However, it's not subliminal in any sense, and like I said, once you've seen this film, you'll understand that other movies have done the exact same thing, and they've done it better, or they've done it just with a little bit more panache, or they've done it with a little bit more subtlety for you to think about. And in this one, I just don't think that message was quite as subtle. It felt like they were serving this message to you on a silver platter. And for some people that could be beneficial, but to me, I just felt like it was just kind of obvious. And like I said, it's been done better in previous films, and it's just something that I think is a con that would weigh this movie down. Again, this isn't to say that I think the movie's terrible. I enjoyed it. I mean, I didn't feel like I wasted my time watching this movie. However, I do think that there were opportunities that were missed in this film, and I think I would have enjoyed it better had they gone different routes. That's me trying to give you my 2 cents without giving you any spoilers, because there is something here that is interesting as far as who the companion is, who Iris is to Josh. And it's pretty, it's pretty interesting to think about, at least in this day and age. You hear a lot of commentary circulating in society right now regarding things that go on in this film, but I don't know, this just didn't really hit the mark for me. Again, I don't hate this movie, and I think that'll reflect in my score, but for it being something that I might revisit, perhaps. I don't see myself revisiting it anytime soon. It's not something I'm going to rush back to go rewatch, but it's not a terrible movie by any means. So, getting into my score, I think I have to give Companion a 2.5 out of 5. I think it's just an average kind of movie that's going to fall under the wayside. It may develop some kind of cult following by certain groups. It's one of those things where I think it's just one of the movies that's coming out this year. And although it's interesting to watch one time, I don't see a lot of revisit value. I don't see myself revisiting it anytime soon. I'm not in a rush to rewatch it. There was nothing in there that was really drawing me to look forward to a franchise of any sort. And it's just very, very bland, very kind of lackluster. I guess my expectations going in were a lot grander than what I was delivered, and they just disappointed me. 2.5 is right down the middle. It's not unenjoyable, but at the same time, you can wait till it streams if you really want to check it out. This is one of those things. I would say just hold off. It's all right. I'm sure there's other things coming out. I mean, unless you want to go watch it, but I always say you go do what you want to do. I'm just giving you my 2 cents. But that's what, more or less, that's what Companion was to me. This was just, it was it was an all right time at the movies. But what did you guys think of Companion? Do you agree with what I'm saying? Disagree with what I'm saying? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you're new to the channel, I'd appreciate if you like and share this video. Or if you want to hear from good old Chuco, consider subscribing. I've been a little slow at posting, and I'm sorry about that. I'm getting the ball rolling. I had a system in place, and then, I had a semblance of a system in place, and it just fell to the wayside. So if you're just now showing up, Happy New Year. I know it's February. My bad. I haven't posted in the new year, but I wanted you guys all to have a Happy New Year. So Happy New Year. Be looking out for future videos. I do have stuff already. They're coming, guys. The videos are coming. My bad. Channel's not dead. I'm still here. But yeah, consider subscribing. It really helps me keep these videos churning out. I'm really busy, in Chuco land, but we're gonna be posting pretty regularly here, starting pretty soon. So be looking out for new videos. But guys, always remember, if you're running through the woods after a heist, think back on something my friend Josh used to tell me, and that's